Let's begin. Today is June 10th, 2024, and we're solving the Daily Turing Machine Puzzle. Today's puzzle uses 5 criteria cards and it's 5 verification cards. Let's go to turingmachine.info for the details. So today's puzzle uses the following 5 criteria cards. Criteria card 4, 15, 17, 19, and 20, and uses the blue verification cards. The code above is your way to go to turingmachine.info and search more information about today's puzzle. Let's go solve. So in the grid above, we've got our 5 criteria cards. On the top row, we've got criteria card A, criteria card B, and criteria card C. And the bottom row, we've got criteria card D and criteria card E. So criteria card A looks at the middle digit, the square digit, and compares that value to the number 4. So should the value of square be less than 4? Should it be equal to 4? Or should it be greater than 4? Criteria card B will look at the 3 digits in our code and let us know which one's the absolute largest. So should triangle be the largest? Should square be the largest? Or perhaps circle is the largest? Criteria card C again looks at the 3 digits in our code and will let us know how many of those should be even. Should there be no even digits? Perhaps there's just 1, 2, or maybe all 3 are even. Criteria card D will look at the first 2 digits, triangle and square, add them together and compare the sum to the number 6. So should the sum be less than 6? Should the sum be equal to 6? Or perhaps the sum should be greater than 6? And finally, criteria card E again looks at the 3 digits in our code and will let us know something about how it's formed. For instance, if there are no repetitions, then it'll look something like the example 125. Or perhaps it has a double number, a repeating digit, as in the example 112, or perhaps it might be a triple number, meaning that it's a single digit repeated 3 times. Remember, our objective today is to find this unique 3-digit code that abides by all the 5 criteria cards that we just described. And we're going to start off with our initial proposal of 314. So the first thing I want to find out is how many evens there are in our 3-digit solution. So I'm going to test criteria card C. Okay, so the Turing machine does not approve of my proposal. Notice that in my proposal of 314, I've got 2 odds to 1 even. So basically it's telling me that no, there is not simply a single even value. So I'll put down, let's see, this is criteria card C. So in my notes for C, I'll simply say, that there is not simply a single even digit. So obviously that still leaves the door open for there to be no evens, 2 evens, or perhaps all of them be even. Let's think about that. So if indeed, this is very interesting. If I look at criteria card B and there's an absolute largest, I guess potentially it could be that one of them is a 4 and the other 2 are still even and there'll be a double 2. So let's go ahead and actually test criteria card E to see if there is a double or if they are all unique. So let's go ahead and test criteria card E. Okay, so again, the Turing machine does not approve of my proposal. Notice that 314 are all unique. So that means that perhaps it's either a double number or a triple number. Well, actually, it can't be a triple number because there is an absolute largest. A triple number implies it's a single digit repeated 3 times, and whatever that digit may be, they're all equal. So there is not an absolute largest. So we can deduce that yes, indeed, there is a double number. So let's go ahead and put that in our notes in section E. So a double number. So basically, it's there is a digit that repeats twice, and then you have a single number afterwards. And so again, going back to criteria card B, it could be that they're all even. It would be 4 is the largest, and then you have a double 2. So let's see, how could we get closer to figuring that? So I'm not quite sold on testing the largest just yet. I think if there is a all even, then it's not a guarantee, but it could be that triangle and square add up to 6. Would that be possible? Because square could actually tell us which of the 2 values, 2 or 4, is in square, and then triangle could be the other even. And then obviously, and actually circle would have to be 2. So obviously there's a lot of supposition going on, but I'm just trying to gauge what our possible solutions might be. I'm trying to think between A, B, and D, which is the best to test, because obviously I don't have 6 here, and I'm trying to figure out what is the best alternative. Okay, let me go ahead and test I guess it doesn't really actually, now that I think about that, if this is 6, then somehow I don't believe that square would actually lead us to a sum of 6. So it seems to me that perhaps, I guess, okay. I guess I'm going to test criteria card D. Check the sum of the first 2 digits. Okay, so yeah, I did not approve of my proposal of 3 and 1. Notice that 3 plus 1 is 4. So it's basically saying no, it is not, the sum is not less than 6. So I'm going to put down in my notes that triangle plus square are either equal to 6 or greater than 6. So we have triangle plus square are either equal to 6 or greater than 6. Okay, so that does it for our 3 proposals, and unfortunately, we were unable to cross out any digits above. So that's a little interesting, but we'll proceed. So again, we're in a phase of trying to figure out what a great second proposal for the second round might be. So I'm going to be thinking about what possible solutions are. So I've already mentioned the possibility. So let's actually kind of flesh that out a little bit and see how would that look. So again, it could be that it's like 4, 2, 2, where, as I mentioned, if it is a double and the sum is 6, circle has to be a 2. But again, somehow these cards don't really give me that feel, because we do have an absolute largest. What else? It could be that it's maybe like a 5 and either 2, 2 and 5, 4, 4. But if that were the case, let's see, if it's 5, obviously the square would tell us what the square digit is, and because it's a duplicate, then automatically we know what circle would be. Would that make sense? It could, actually. So let's see, if it's 522 or 544, again, it's a square that'll let us know which one it is. And they both would be sums that are greater than 6, but the square would tell us which of the evens it is. Okay, so what if it would be the other way around, where maybe the 5 is the square? Would that make a difference? So if square were 5, the sums would still be greater, but I wouldn't know where to put, if they were 2 and 2 for triangle and circle, or 4 and 4. I don't think I would have that knowledge. Same thing if I were to put them, I believe, well, absolutely it wouldn't work for if circle were 5, because then it would be less than and this would be greater than. I mean, it would work in some sense, but I'm thinking I kind of like more triangle to be the 5. So let's go ahead and try that out. I'm going to say 522. I'm going to try 522 and see where that takes us. Okay, so just checking that, and okay, yeah, let's go for it. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead, and I do want to test criteria card A first. Okay, so it does approve of my proposal. Notice that my square value is a 2. So basically, the Turing machine is telling me that it agrees that square should be less than 4. Okay, so now I get to actually cancel some numbers up above. So if square has to be less than 4, then of course it can't be a 4 or 5. It could be 1, 2, or 3. Okay, and so let's go ahead and test criteria B. See what is the largest. Okay, so I was right that in that triangle is the largest. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a 5, as most of these, the way the criteria cards work, it just confirms the rule, but not the particular number until you finalize it. So we will say that I'll say that triangle, and I'll just spell it out, is the largest. And so since triangle is the largest, we can say with certainty that triangle can't be 1, because if 1 was the largest, then what would the other values be? Obviously square and circle can't both be 5, because if those were 5, there's nothing larger. But since square is already crossed out for 5, I'll just cross out the 5 for circle. Okay, let's see. Anything else that we tested in round 1 that might help us? I guess we're still kind of debating whether there are two evens. The sum, what about sums? Okay, we haven't really talked about sums yet. Okay, so we do have doubles. So we know the 5 can't be doubled, and that's the only one because that's the only one that has two of the fives that are crossed out. But everything else can be doubled. We still have plenty of possibilities where the sums are equal to 6 or greater than 6. Notice that in my proposal I do have a greater than 6. So let's see. Okay, so let's see. If triangle were, to be, well, triangle can't be 2. Oh, this will be interesting, I think. I don't think triangle can be 2 because if it's the largest, that would force square and circle to both be 1. And that would give me a sum that's less than 6. Okay, that's a rather surprising result. Okay, what about 3? I don't believe triangle could be 3 either. Again, if triangle is indeed the largest, 3 plus 2 would not work. So it can't be 3. Wow, this is very surprising. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Let's see, can it be 4? Yes, it can be 4 because 4 can be added to 2 or 4 can be added to 3 to get something greater. Let's see. Yeah, so I think that's all I can cross out. I can't even cross out the either of the ones because they both could be added to 5. So let's see. And so at this point, yeah, I've got some 6s, 4, 2, 5, 1, and obviously some greater than 6s, 4, 3, and 5, 3, and 5, 2 for that matter. So let's see, how can I... Oh, okay, so let's take a look at circle here. Can circle be 4? Actually, circle I don't think can be 4 because then that would force the triangle to be 5. But then what would square be? Where's the double? So yeah, circle can't be 4. Interesting how some of these, trying to think of the right word, relationship between the numbers, how they're kind of working out. Well, here are our doubles. So we know it's either 1, 1, 2, 2, or 3, 3. And so let's see. You know what? Let's go ahead and start maybe numbering or listing them out. So it can't be 4, 1, 1 because that sum is less than 6. But it could be 4, 2, 2. And it can be, it cannot be 4, 3, 3 because remember, we cannot have simply a single even digit. So that's interesting. So the only possibility with a 4 is the 2, 2. Now what about the 5? So 5, I guess it could be 1, 1. Why not? That's 6. It could be 5, 2, 2. And it could be 5, 3, 3. Okay, so let's take a look. So perhaps it may not be 5, 1, 1 and 5, 3, 3. Well, actually, no, it might be because that is 6. I'm trying to figure out if there's something in common between any of these that we can eliminate because they're ambiguous in the sense that you can't, they meet all the same criteria cards and you can't differentiate them. So let's see. So again, here we have 6 and 6, but we have all 3 even. Here we have no evens. So the only thing I see in common is that that 511 and 533, they have no evens, but they are different in that this sum is 6 and this sum is greater than 6. Okay, so, and we do have half that have a double even. Well, actually, no, I take that back. There's a double even here, and then, or 2 evens, and there's 3 evens. So what would be the best to test? So obviously not E, so it'd either be either C or D. So we do have 2 6s and 2 greater. So at least that would divide our list in half. And but the evens would not, because again, in my case, I do have the 522. If that fails, then there's still a lot of possibilities. So I think the best thing to do is to test this sum criteria card D. And so let me go ahead and do that, because I don't think, I mean, I could get lucky and get only 2 evens, but if I don't, then it'll be, I'll definitely have to go to the 3rd round. I think I'm gonna have to go to the 3rd round regardless. So yeah, let's go ahead and do criteria card D, the sum. Okay, so it does agree that the sum is greater. So let me go ahead and cross out the equals to 6, because it's not equal to 6. So indeed, the sum is greater than 6. So let me cross out these 2 possibilities. Okay, and so these are our last 2 proposals, or last 2 potential solutions. And so yeah, so it's a 50-50. Either there are 2 evens or there are no evens. So since I do have the 522 in my previous, I'm going to stick with it. So let's see what we get. And I don't think there's any way to deduce whether it's 2 or none, is there? Well, we know we don't have the single 4. Nor the 1s. So yeah, it comes down to 522, 533. And yeah, it's a 50-50. I don't think there's anything I can do to deduce. Well, the only thing I can think of, if I knew, maybe perhaps I can deduce, if I knew that there was 2 evens, well, no, if there's 2 evens, it doesn't necessarily mean, yeah, I guess so. If I knew there were 2 evens, could I say that then this card would be irrelevant, since I knew that there would be a double? I think so. If I knew this was 2 evens, then I knew I'd have a double, which leads me to believe that 533 then would be the correct answer. Okay, so I'm going to leave it to yeah, I'm going to test 522 regardless, but I'm now sort of changing my mind. Perhaps it is 533, but we'll find out. Okay, so let's go ahead and test criteria card C. Let's see if it passes or fails. It passed. Okay, so my sort of logical deduction did not hold water. So I'm glad I tested, because otherwise I would have been wrong. Okay, so 522 does work, so that means it is not 533. So let me go ahead and cross it out. And so up above we have 522, and let's sort of review. So yeah, so obviously, yeah, the middle digit is less than 4. Triangle is the largest. There's not just a single even. Indeed, I guess now that we've tested it, there's actually a double. And the sum is greater than 6. There is a double number. That looks great. So let's go to turingmachine.info and verify. So 522, let's verify. Okay, fantastic. But now the true test is, did we beat the Turing machine? Okay, so let's go back and see, what did I test? So I tested CDE in the first round, and they were all incorrect. And then I did ABD, and they were all correct. And then a single C. So let's see if I can memorize all that. So CDE. So CDE were all incorrect. And then I did ABD, and they were all correct. And then a final round of C, which was also correct. And let's see, how do we do? Okay, wow, very cool. So we answered it in 7 questions. The Turing machine took 8 questions. And so, we did have a 5 criteria card puzzle. So it's, so it's, this one had a little bit, maybe less luck, who knows? But the fact that we did go, 2 over the number of criteria cards means that the luck factor may be a little bit reduced, but still very enjoyable and very fulfilling. So if you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you saw anything interesting, please comment. Did I miss something? Could I have done it even better? Or if you saw something that was sort of interesting, please share in the comments. And if you don't want to miss any future videos, please do hit subscribe to be notified. And so until next time, have a great one.